You just released your new single, Self Love Rebellion. Is that correct?
You are so correct. So I was going through a lot of growing pains. Needless to say, when that song was written, high school was it was fun, but it was tough. Like I being an artist too, I felt things very deeply. So and in those natural growing pains, they were very painful. So that song came from talking about and experiencing hitting rock bottom, whatever that looks like for you, but rising above.
Hey guys, it's your girl Ty, and you're watching Spill It. It's the show that gives you a glimpse into the performer's mindset and reveals the person behind the persona. Before we get started, I want to shine the spotlight on MusiCares. MusiCares provides a safety net of critical assistance for music people in times of need. The pandemic has left millions of workers across countless industries jobless. You can help. Check out MusiCares.com for more information. If you can, give. And if you need help, reach out. And now we're getting in the groove because in this episode we've got Audrey Collins. Audrey Collins is a singer slash songwriter originally from the Pacific Northwest, who is now making some noise in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. Performing and writing music has taken Audrey on a profound journey of discovery and self acceptance as she continues to grow her name in the country music industry. If you've wanted to explore the world of country music from a musician's point of view and you're ready to raise your vibrations, then this is the episode for you. Audrey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Eccaia! It's been a long time coming for this to happen. We've been talking about this for a while, and I'm
Yes.
finally glad it's coming to fruition. So this is awesome. Cool.
I've been looking forward to having you on the show since the day that we decided that Spill It needed to happen. You were actually one of the first people I thought of. I still remember when I saw that you had liked one of my posts on Instagram about a year ago, and then you gave me a little shout out. Your song, Like to Drive, put a smile on my face, and I created a nunchuck freestyle video to it. It was a lot of fun. Before we start talking music, I'd love to learn more about you, your story, and your martial arts. Could you tell us a bit about that?
You know what's funny is, so I'm the youngest of three. Growing up, I did what brother and sister did. Taekwondo was one of those things. It was hard. I was getting to that point where I was like, you know what? I really want to hang out with my friends, try something new. But the one thing about that all was that my parents, which I totally stand by this notion, was like, no, you got to finish what you started. Rather be on that end of that mentality than
Definitely.
when things get tough, kind of bow out. You know what I'm saying? So know yourself, and if you can, persevere.
Of course.
Persevere. Got my black belt. I was 12.
But what overall was your favorite part of martial arts?
The respect and the
Yeah.
dedication that there's no sport like it at all. So
Yeah.
I think the uniqueness for sure, and just the dedication that I know a lot of people have to go through.
Well, and that's also one of my favorite parts is just so many life skills that you learn through martial art.
Yes, you put it all in a nutshell right there, girl. I was like,
And have you always been interested in music?
I have always been interested in music, definitely country music and classic rock, and I was very attracted to music that had full instrumentation, told a story, you belted it, you really sung it out, and I found a lot of that in country music, at least with the artists I listened to, like Martine McBride and Faith Hill and Brooks and Dunn. It was a lot of full, authentic stuff, so. And that's the cool thing about music, is that it can be applied to everything.
Exactly.
Speaking, running, crying, struggling and having the best time. So I think it's universal. That's the really cool thing about it. So
That's a really good describing word for music.
and that's why Taylor Swift can, perform all around the world, because they just love her, and I do too. So shout out Taylor. I wrote my first song in 8th grade. It will never be shared. No, I'm just kidding. It's so not worth it. You get better as you do it more.
Yeah, of course. And it's funny that you mentioned that a lot of your inspiration kind of comes when you're out in nature, because I've been looking at a lot of your music videos, and a lot of them are out in nature, on the beach, or in the forest, and with Like to Drive, you were in the car driving.
a lot of things came into play even now of how do we do this thing we called music. So I'm glad you liked that little video. Like to drive, that's funny. But I agree, like it's all about the lighting too, a lot of the times in nature that helps with music videos. But I didn't think about that. They are all up in like outside. I'm learning something new about myself. Thanks, girl.
Well, you're welcome. And has your musical journey had a deliberate direction, or has it kind of been evolving organically?
Oh man, that is a really, really good question. I mean, like yourself, like you're very dedicated, you're very hardworking, you're gonna make things happen. And a lot of what I found is the more I tried to be like a lot more in control, the more out of control I was with things, especially the creative things, you know, it can be stumbling and at times.
Yeah.
So it's evolved organically, but I've since have direction, so.
And it's important to know kind of what your goals are and where you want to be, but it's also important to go with the flow and not be incredibly concerned on sticking to exactly what you want to do, exactly when you want to do it.
Exactly. Nutshelled that very beautifully. So, yeah. Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
especially, man, I swear with the world, it's like you've got to be able to adapt in a sense. And that's where I feel like you find who you truly are, you know, is how you've reacted to life.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's what I really love about the pandemic is how it's given us all a chance to take a step back, look back at what we've done and what we want to do, and also just reflect on ourselves and what we can do better and just make little changes like that.
Oh, so true. So true. And yeah, to remind yourself if you are someone who's a go-getter to take a breather and know it's okay to take a breather. You know, don't stress. Don't stress too much.
Exactly. Also, what I can add to that is don't overthink it.
Right. Girl, yeah. When you almost have so much free time, it's hard to get things done. Like there's a lot to say for being self-motivated.
For me, there's a lot that I absolutely have to get done. But you've also mentioned that not being able to perform live has kind of took a little bit of a toll on the entertainment industry and your personal career. How are you really feeling about not being able to do live performances?
You know, that has been probably the hardest thing for me to like wrap my head around. That was my dream as a kid, was to be up on stage and connect with the audience and just sing my lungs out and hope that it reached and touched someone. So also that means I've had to like work on the things I'm maybe not as strong at, but I still enjoy, but they're just not as strong, like songwriting or figuring out, you know, internet presence. I'm like a grandma sometimes when it comes to technology. So I've had this time, and I'm trying to use that time to get better at those other things. So
when you have an idea or you see something you really like, write it down or text it to yourself. When you forget to do that, and I'm talking from personal experience, then you're like, oh, I had such a great idea, or I saw something really amazing. But then...
No, literally, the idea left, it's gone. Speaking of, yeah. Actually, no, seriously, when I do that too when it comes to melody, if there's no lyric.
When you create music, what's your personal purpose or goal?
First, when I started creating, it was about getting my own emotions down, you know, like an outlet in a sense, for sure. Big outlet. And there's a lot of different ways to live life in your outlets, you know, and so that was my main one. I'm super interested in the way people think because I'm all about connecting with people. So I hope they hear themselves and can relate to the message. Because that's what I've found great artists can do for me, you know.
Yeah.
We all need love and validation, and knowing that I'm being validated and you're being validated, it's super cool. I'm inspired from like other people doing what they love. It's like from other people doing their passion, like seeing you, girl, like doing your thing. I'm like, shoot, I'm inspired to like dive deeper into my purpose, you know. What are the possibilities? Especially when creativity, you can't force it. You got to show up, but you can't force it all the time. And that's just life, you know. So, and I think it's so applicable to today, even like with all of our own,
especially today.
Gosh, in all realms of pandemic or political or natural disasters, everything, we're all trying to find connection in it, and how important it is that it start with self.
And now here's the big question.
Okay.
Where can we listen to it?
You can find Self-Love Rebellion on all music platforms. So you can find it on Apple Music, you can find it, I think iTunes, that's the same thing. Amazon Music, you can find it on Spotify, you can find it on my website, audreycollinsmusic.com. That has gone through a whole revamp itself. I'm so happy with where I'm at right now and the trajectory of what I'm trying to deliver, message wise and connectivity wise, because that's really what it's about for me is finding connection with self and others, to be the best version that I can be. So.
And it's really important to find that connection within yourself to something you really love.
Yeah, no, it is, and until you know that, in my opinion and experience, it's hard to then authentically share that with others.
Mm-hmm.
Got to start from the inside and ripple effect out. There we go. Because then it'll get easier to deal with what life throws at you when you can know yourself and be like, yes, I can handle that. That's too much for me. I need to bow out for a sec, so really get to know where your boundaries are and your limits. So
that's so true.
Yeah.
And that's all the time we have. But before we go, do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave our audience with?
Drink water, take a couple deep breaths. Be grateful, really see the good around you, be observant, but also, take care of yourself right now. Realize that it's a tough time and we're all in it together. Don't you love that? Isn't that oversaid? But it's true.
And once we're off air, where can our viewers find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Audrey Collins Music, Facebook, Audrey Collins Music, website audreycollinsmusic.com, and on YouTube, actually. Sorry, Audrey Collins Music. I keep it very simple.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being ready to spill it with us, Audrey.
Thank you, Eccaia. That was so much fun.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to end here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head on over to our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, share, and get involved. Until next time, stay awesome, stay driven, and always be ready to spill it. Eccaia, out.